What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Brandon Coin YouTube channel. And today I'm finishing out the end of 2021, and I'm actually doing an AMA video, or Ask Me Anything. I put this post on to the Facebook group, so I'm sorry if you weren't in Facebook. I guess you weren't able to ask a question. I'll do another one of these soon, maybe in a couple months, but I don't think I've ever formally done one. In live streams, a lot of people ask me questions, and yeah, so, and also there was people like asking, what is an AMA? It's Ask Me Anything, but keep it classy is what I told the guys over on the group. So let me pull up their questions. I guess, you know what, I can take my glasses off. Whew. There we go. Hope y'all are gonna enjoy the bring in the new year with a good little shebang. Well, I did have my questions up here. I rode down, and I'm actually at the beach, but we'll be coming back in the morning. Some of my other family were gonna come down, but they ran into some like car troubles, so it ended up just being like me and the wife and the baby, and we're down here at the beach. And for the end of the year, December, the weather is like insane. Like, I'm in a short sleeve shirt. It just feels good. It's got a little chill to it, but like, I can't complain at all. It's really nice out here. So let me pull this up. Where'd my post go? All right, so I posted here. I actually posted yesterday, and we'll start at the top. So the first comment was from William Panda, and it's not a real question. It said, "Why are you so handsome?" Well, thank you, Mr. William. I appreciate that, and I don't know why. It's just how a little big guy made me. Anyway, so next one, Michael Rostech. What are your plans for 2022? Any new things on the horizon? So there's actually some big stuff that I have not talked about yet because they're still in the works, but I am going to be moving locations. So I know I just currently built my garage a few months ago and got that up and running, put 200 amp service. I'm already to the point now that I'm about at around 80 or 90 amps sustained there. So I'm about half of my service used up. Some of that does go to being used with like car stuff, but most of it is primarily GPU mining. So I'm already seeing that I'm going to outgrow my power, not necessarily my building. I still have plenty of space in the building. If I wanted to dedicate more room to it, that's not really an issue. But I am running out of actual available power. Since you got to keep it at that 80%. Realistically, on a 200 amp service, you want to be pulling no more than about 150 or 160 amps sustained, and that's at 110 volts, by the way. Obviously, you just double it or cut it in half for 240. So yeah, I could say I have 100 amps at 240 available, and I don't want to go over 80 amps at 240, which is 160 amps at 110 or 120, however you want to refer to that. But I am going to be moving locations. I am currently I just started clearing the new location where the new building is going to go. I'm going bigger because it's not on my current plot of property. I don't know if you guys remember when I first built my first location, I was limited in size because of my property was kind of, it's kind of small. So I couldn't build as big as I wanted to build. Now I'm building bigger. I'm going to make a dedicated area similar to what I did now, but instead of using those ducting fans, I think I'm going to do like exhaust style, greenhouse style fans. The big ones, and cut out big holes in the wall. A lot of people said they had really good success with those, and they have the flaps on the outside to keep rain from coming in and stuff like that. So you could just close them, open them, vice versa, and I could still like close off the area and keep it like tight and uniform. So that's pretty much what's going on, like big plans wise for next year, is the new location. And obviously I'm going to take you guys along every step of that, because I did it last time, and I think a lot of people appreciated it, and a lot of people like understand. Obviously the process is different everywhere, but I learn by watching and reading and seeing what other people are doing. So maybe you guys can learn something along the way too. If not, at least it'll be a little bit of entertainment value. So I guess we'll just skip on to the next question. But yeah, so new location, more cards, more mining, more everything, bigger. And I'm not talking about like, warehouse. I'm a couple thousand square feet at most, probably around 2, maybe 2 and change. That's what we're looking for. And I do want to do multiple services. So I want to split it up and do multiple 200 amp services. I'm actually talking, and I want to hear back from the electric company and see if there's 3-phase available over there, which that's like stepping up into the big boy leagues, which we'll talk about that when that time comes in those videos. But I want more power. Now on to the next question from Christopher Smith. What's up, buddy? He says, can I has free GPUs? And hey man, nothing in life's free, but nah, I ain't got no free GPUs. I think I've actually given you one before in the past, or let you borrow one at least. Now Patrick Lupe Garcia, what's up, bro? How much is a 3 gigahash electric bill? I just got my electric bill. I think I did a video on it a while back, maybe a week or two ago, and my electric bill is hovering right around the $800 to $900 mark. And my electricity rate is a variable rate, but when I divide it out on my cost versus my kilowatts, it averages out to about 10 to 11 cents per kilowatt hour. So 3 gigahash on my current setup, I'll round up and say $900 a month. Now I don't have a very efficient setup. I'd say 50% of my cards are either 10 series or Polaris cards. So they're burning a lot of power for what they're doing. If I could probably cut my power down 20 to 30% if I stepped everything up to newer generation tech, but that's going to cost me a lot more money too. Sorry, I keep looking up. There's tons of people out here right now, and they're probably just thinking, what's that guy doing over there sitting talking to himself? Anyway, good question though. Stephen Lundry says, hello from Statesville, North Carolina. What's up, fellow North Carolinian? He said, do a live video like Son of a Tech has been doing lately. I read this comment earlier. I liked it and I wanted to, but unfortunately the signal down here is not great. I was thinking that I'll be able to like hotspot and use my laptop and do all kinds of stuff while I'm down here, and that is not an option. So I'm having to record the video and then gonna upload it. But also it says, could you talk about mining to a hard wallet? I want to get a Trezor, but I'm unclear on how it works out. I know the government is always watching, but if one mined to a hardware wallet, could the IRS see it until you sent some to a KYC exchange? Sorry about the plane overhead. Of course, you should always pay your taxes. I'm just trying to understand the privacy of the network. Okay, so the way the network works is, speaking on like Bitcoin and Ethereum, if you ever send a transaction to a transaction or if you send from one account to another account and that account has your identity linked to it, then they can link those other accounts to you if they suspect fraud. Obviously this is not like a concrete situation, because the crypto and IRS and all the ways they go after attacking people that aren't paying their taxes, which they should. That's their job. People need to pay their taxes, but it's trying to get around it is not worth it. I have a Trezor. I have a couple different hardware wallets. The way those work is basically the same as like a paper wallet. They store your keys, you can plug them in, and you can get access to them. You can do the same thing with creating a paper wallet, writing or printing out your wallet, and then if that piece of paper is gone, nobody ever has access again. Just like if you burned your Trezor up in a fire, nobody ever has access because nobody has those keys. They're all locked into that little USB drive. So in theory, yes, could you mine to a Trezor hardware wallet or a paper wallet and then it's not linked to your identity? Yes, but as soon as you start transferring funds to a KYC, then they can backtrack it and look. And the thing about like the Ethereum and the Bitcoin network is they can see the whole blockchain shows what everybody has. So if they can link that you have this address and you're funneling funds from this address later on, it's all, by the time you get it to USD, it's all going to be taxed. There's no real good way around it, and doesn't really need to be. We're making so much money doing mining. There's so many people doing like day trading and stuff. It's well worth just paying your taxes, keeping everything on the up and up, and not having to risk like any jail time or anything like that. hold on one second. Let's see here. He had another question. Oh, no. Okay. He was just talking about more, like privacy coins. I'm going to be honest. I don't really mess with a lot of privacy coins. I do. He said, what about privacy coins? I do have some Monero. And I mean, I guess technically Raven coin is kind of like a privacy coin. Maybe. I don't know. I feel like, honestly, the coins that try to be like super like private and where they're not open, kind of hold them back from getting onto exchanges. So just one of those things. Anyway, Matt Clayton said, how did you first get into mining? What were your first GPUs and how did you feel when you started? Like, how long did it take to break even? Did you almost quit along the way? So Mr. Matt, I first got into mining around 2017 when the boom was starting to happen. I got in when Bitcoin was around 3,000 or 4,000, and I started off with a 1060 6 gigabyte card, and I actually built my first rig was 6 1060 Zotacs. I love those things. They made me a bunch of money, and I rode those cards all the way through when it went up to almost 20,000, that first boom in like 2017, early 2018, and I basically ROI'd those cards in like a matter of a couple months. So it got me hooked because those cards were making really, really good money, and I started buying more and more and more cards, and before you knew it, I was up to north of about 50 or 60 cards. But then I almost did quit because mining went down, profitability went down, all the coin values went down. I moved houses. And in my new house, I was supposed to have cable internet. The company went round and round with me and ended up taking me almost 6 or 7 months to get my internet installed. So I was trying to run stuff on hotspots. I was getting tons of like stale shares because I didn't have really good service out there because it's in the boondocks. It was a whole host of issues. So at the time, I was selling cards off. What I was actually doing was taking cards, putting them into like little budget gaming rigs and selling the gaming rigs for $300-400. Hindsight's 2020. I was throwing 570s and 580s in like, second and third gen i7s with like 8 gigs of RAM and selling that for like $300-400. Heck, those cards people are paying $400 for a 580 itself right now. So it's just it's funny how it all works out. So yeah, I almost did quit because I sold off about everything all the way down to like my final 8 cards. I had an Octominer board with 8 cards in it, and I was kind of like, these are the cards I'm going to keep. And I always mined on those. They made a little bit of money. They actually made really good money because I was mining down in the bottom, and I held those coins. I didn't need them. And when the market came back up, it was just like, wow, man, if I would have mined at a full capacity, it would have been great. But it is what it is. We made money. I feel good about it, and I'm glad I did stick with it. And I'm not going to make that mistake again. So if we ever do see another downturn like we did before, it's full steam ahead. Now, on to Chris. We haven't seen Simba in a while. Is he still hanging around? Man, this really sucks because like Simba was a stray cat. He was like sleeping on my front porch. I started feeding him, and then I brought him into the garage, and it became like a nightly thing. Like I fed him every night. I got him water. He slept out there most of the time. And then I don't know what happened. I didn't keep him cooped up. I would leave my garage door cracked back there so he could come in and he could come out. There are other animals in the neighborhood, stray dogs, stray cats, and he has not been back. I've searched for him. There was a spot, he went missing for a week one time, and I found him in a spot up the road, and I went back up there and I didn't find him. He used to always come when I would call his name. Simba, he would come to it, and I still, every night on the way when I walk out to the garage, I'm calling for him. Hopefully, I'm thinking, hopefully, he's such a sweet cat. Maybe somebody picked him up and took him inside. I haven't seen any, on the side of the road or anything like that. I don't live off too busy of a road, so I don't know. I just hope nothing bad happened to him, but that's why he hasn't been around. Maybe I still hope he would come back around, but hopefully he's doing good. That's the biggest thing. So that's what's going on with Simba. Kind of stinks. Zane What's the motherboard and case for the photo? In the photo that I asked me anything, that was just to get attention, but that motherboard is a Gigabyte Z390 Aorus, and the case was a Fantex something, and Fan is spelled with P-H-A-N, Fantex. That's the name of the company. I don't remember exactly what model it was, but you can check them out. They got a lot of cool cases. Casey says, what's an ideal price to buy or sell GPUs at? I know some like to buy off StockX or eBay. Some like to find their own at retail stores or even run their own bots. I, for one, run a bot on Amazon servers and get 15 to 35 millisecond pings using a proxy. I just sell the GPUs I don't want for myself. I find it hard to sell GPUs to other miners, even at 50 to 150 above retail. Certain gamers will gladly pay $100 over retail. It just seems some miners would rather just waste a month trying to get one at retail when they could have bought one on StockX and mind the difference of getting it now than finding it later. A lot of people were paying a lot more money when profitability was a lot higher. And that's probably what you're running into, Casey. The market is like, and when I mean by market, the amount of people that are mining right now, I'm not gonna say it's shrinking, but it's not exponentially expanding like it was before. It was exponentially expanding on all levels. Right now, we're still growing. I would call it more like a steady, positive growth, but it's not like busting at the seams. So there's less demand. That means people aren't paying as much. There's still not enough supply to keep up with the demand, but there is less demand. So say our demand was like 150%, now our demand might be 120%. Still over 100%, and we can't supply more than 100%, or NVIDIA, AMD, blah, blah, blah. But that's why the prices aren't matching up. Now, as for like running a bot and buying and selling cards, I don't really do any selling of cards. I just do buying, and I try to figure out my prices on my cost per mega hash. So I like to tell people right now, if you can get stuff for around $15 per mega hash, it's pretty decent. If you can get it around $10 per mega hash, it's an absolute steal. And if you're getting close up to that $20 per mega hash, it's like, man, you better love that thing, because you're starting to overpay big time. I see people all the time, they're pricing their cards at, $22, $24 per mega hash, and I'm just like, man, that thing's gonna sit on marketplace for a while. So that's probably what you're running into, is, I don't know, dependent. And that's another thing, is the LHR cards, where NVIDIA made all these cards that don't hash good. It's made them a lot less desirable. So there's a lot of cards out there that people just don't want to mess with. Yeah, okay, there's unlockers and different miners to get more performance, but honestly, like, especially the guys that have been around for a few years, we don't want to mess with that stuff. It's not going to be around forever. Some people think, oh, NVIDIA is going to be LHR forever. No. When mining cools off and profitability goes down even further than it is now, because we got a lot of room to go down, we're still making really good money. They're not going to put the time, research, and development into holding off all the LHR like work, so to speak. It's not going to be worth their while. They did the same thing during the 10 series. They didn't invest in any to the LHR side, but they put a bunch of money into making mining cards. And whenever mining cooled off, when the 20 series came out, there was really no 20 series mining cards. Actually, a lot of the mining cards we're seeing now, the CX cards, or CH or CHX, CMP, whatever they are, CMPs, that's what they are. Those are actually some 20 series mixed with some 30 series. So it's kind of funny. They're using some older tech and just rebranding it and selling it, and people are happily buying it up. But anyway, Ronald McBride, hey, you boss, I will ask it because nobody else would. Would you rather fight a horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? A horse-sized duck sounds pretty bad, but duck-sized horses, 100 of them, I think I could take 100 of them. That means they'll only be like, what, maybe 1.5 feet tall. I could take it. So Ronald, it's definitely going to be 100 duck-sized horses for sure. Brandon Reeves says, I love the Fantex. Oh, he's talking about the case in the picture. Ben Lee, this question is going to be for Motor Nubs. That's actually my other YouTube channel. If you guys aren't familiar, I have a car channel, so I guess he's going to ask a question for that. I have a JDM imported Mark III Supra with a twin turbo 1JZ with automatic transmission. It's all bone stock. If you were me, what mods would you do to it first? Sorry for not being crypto related, but since it's the last big dip, I'm kind of burnt out on crypto content, just running in HODL mode for now, or HODL mode. Okay, so being that sounds like a really clean, really nice car, being JDM imported and all that kind of stuff. A lot of times they don't import junk. I'd probably go the more cosmetic route. I would say I'd tighten up suspension, maybe do a set of, I hate to like recommend coilovers because it's like coilovers make the ride so bad. So maybe a set of good struts and some reputable lowering springs from like, IBOC or EBOC, however you want to say it, just to get that ride height right. And then depending on the wheel setup, I don't know off the top of my head, Mark III Supra is what the stock wheels look like. But I always love pull those stock wheels off, keep them for resale value, because stock, being able to put a car back to all OEM for like a purist is definitely like a real thing. But putting a set of wheels and tires on it, getting the suspension right, getting the height right, and then maybe a little bit of window tint, and then just like drive and enjoy the car in stock form before you modify it. Because I was really big on, in the past, I wouldn't even enjoy a car at an OEM level. I would just start throwing parts at it. And it's almost now nice to take a step back, enjoy it at a stock level, and then maybe in a couple months, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, on Mark III Supras, I don't know, the stock turbos, you can't get much power out of them. So maybe that's when you decide to step up and you go to a big turbo and do your fuel system, go E85 and make a boatload of power, because those 1JZs can make a boatload of power. Sorry for the car talk for all you crypto guys. Michael says, you tend to answer all my questions before I even want to ask them. Well, thank you. You're welcome. Cedric said, if you could go back to when you started mining in the beginning of the year, what would you have done differently other than taking a hiatus due to internet issues? So yeah, I was without internet for a good deal of time. If I could go back in time, like just time travel to the beginning of the year, I'd probably just take the easy move and dump like every dollar I had into like Shiba and Dogecoin, because you wouldn't even have to think. I could still be mining on the side, and then all that stuff just would have exploded in price, and I could have made a bunch of money. Obviously, that's like a lame answer, but if I could have bought more GPUs, now knowing that the market would have been as strong as it is for as long as it is, I would not have been afraid to buy cards on credit instead of just out of pocket. I never recommend people buying a lot of cards or a lot of GPUs on like credit cards or loans, because it can, the whole market can get pulled out from underneath us, and next thing you know, you're not making any money, and then how do you pay your payments? So you never want to get caught up like that. But if I knew that it was going to be making steady money for the next 5 years, I'd just go get out a personal loan and dump a bunch of money into cards. So shoulda, coulda, woulda. Oh well, spilt milk, cry about it, is what it is. But thank you for that question, Cedric. So Hamazan, how to build destroy button. We don't have that one. Nick said, if you started in the last 4 months, what would be your mining strategy in the current market, future GPU market? Love the channel. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that, Mr. Nick Stone. If I just started in the last 4 months, I'd just be very aggressive on trying to find cards at a decent deal, because you don't want to buy a bunch of overpriced LHR cards. I feel like a lot of people are building their farm on LHR tech, and potentially we have new cards right around the corner. And I hate saying that, because it's like, it's all, we always have something new coming. But I'm going to go out on a limb, and I don't think the next generation of cards are going to be LHR. And basically, the 30 series LHR is going to be like a smudge on GPU history. It's, like when 30 series isn't new anymore, ain't nobody going to want 30 series LHR cards. They're going to tank in value even more than they already are, just because nobody's going to want to deal with them. So try to find cards at a good value. If you got to, buy some AMD cards. And I know it's tough. Either some people got to go camp out, some people got to overpay. It's just is what it is. G Lafomia, and I'll try to wrap this up. We're at like 25 minutes already. I'm wondering, are we able to mine new coins that were not listed on Unmineable? I want to mine a new coin on BSC. Well, there are other services. There's one on Raven. It's a Raven coin swap or something, like a Raven swap. I was actually going to look at it when I get back home. And you mine Raven coin, you can pick another coin to get paid out in. I don't know if they offer more or less than Unmineable, but I do not know Unmineable's been adding more. So I guess if you can't find the coin that you want, you could always just mine a coin, send it to the exchange, and then exchange it. There is more taxable events there. It's more work, but normally you can't mine unmineable coins. That whole unmineable thing, that was kind of cool. That's come out within the last, at least I've been using it within the last 6-8 months. But before that, if it wasn't a mineable coin, you had to mine something that was mineable and then exchange it for something else. So yeah. William says, what is the airspeed of a unladen swallow? I don't know, man. Yeah. Jason J. Brown, what was the most crazy, stupid accident that ever happened? Spilled a drink on a motherboard, overclocked a GPU too hard and fried it. Anything? It hasn't been super crazy, but I did one of my first GTX 1080s I ever bought. It was an MSI Gaming X, like the red cooler. Like, I paid like $700 for this thing. I overpaid for it, and this was back in like 2018. I really was like, this is a bad Mammer Jammer card. Like 1080s were still pretty relevant, and that was around the time like the ETH pill came out, so upped their performance from like 28, 29 mega hash all the way to like 35, 37 mega hash. Like 1080, yeah, nice. But I got it in. I didn't have enough plugs for the top, so I used a splitter, and it was a cheap splitter and it was wired incorrectly. So when I plugged it in the card and I powered it up, I hear bzzz, and then I see a little bit of smoke come out the back. Powered it off, realized that like the wires were like melted and they were wired wrong, and it grounded it out. I put it in another computer that I know had like good wiring or good wires that weren't messed up, and the card, it would spin the fans but no display, nothing like that. It kind of sucked. Luckily MSI, even though it was my fault, I reached out to them, explained what happened. I sent the card off and they RMA'd it, and they sent me the same card back, and they fixed it. Apparently it shorted out some kind of little, I guess not fuse, but little resistor or something back there at the power plug. So I was lucky about that. And let me see, I think was that the last one? Thank you, by the way, thank you for that, Jason J. Got people walking by. Anyway, yeah, that was pretty much it. Not a lot of questions there. Actually, we're already at almost 30 minutes, so that was enough. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope everybody has a great rest of their 2021, and I will see you next year. I get to make that joke. Yeah, see y'all next year, fools. Just kidding. All right, later, guys. For real. Bye.